Good morning, spaceman. Good morning, Space Operations Delta. Welcome back to X4 Foundations. I'm Captain Collins, and today we take a look at the economy of X4 Cradle of Humanity. We want to take a look at all the station modules that are new and also all the wares that are new for the Terrans. Quick reminder, we're still in the pre-released beta version. There are still some changes that can be made, but the finished game will release on March 16th on Steam and GOG, and you can pre-order it already now. You already had a very cool intro, so let's jump right into the game and have a look at all these cool new modules. And I can tell you a few things already while we're starting. And these are, if you're starting as a Terran and you're playing in Terran space, if you're starting in Terran territory, there are a whole lot of new wares which you need to use to get your Terran modules being built. The Terrans do not only come with new modules, as you can see, they also bring variations of old modules with the wares that they have for themselves. That means the Terrans are a completely individual faction in the game. They don't depend on any other faction out there. I will show you now one by one what that means. And we're starting with Terran medical supply. This here is one of the Terran medical supply factories. They are producing medical supplies which you need for your workforce. And before we take a look at all these docking modules and storage modules and maybe also defense modules, we take a look at the production modules first, because that will change how you need to play in this economy. Here we are in the logical station overview of that station. There are some things already that you maybe have never seen before. And there's one thing, for example, the Terran MRE, which means meal ready to eat. Then you got the protein paste. At the last, the medical supplies. Medical supplies is like the medical supplies you knew from other stations, but you need to build that with other resources than the other medical supplies. And also that station itself is being built with other materials. For example, in this case, medical supplies, you need protein paste, which needs energy cells, ice, and methane. You can see the values here. Protein paste is then being built into medical supplies, which you can see the values here. And then it will be needed for your workforce. You can see the workforce in here. Provisions for the workforce are medical supplies and Terrans meal ready to eat. We'll take a look at that in the next step. From the build plan of that medical supply factory, we take a look at the protein paste production. The protein paste production looks like that. You can see the turret placements around it and also the shield placements around it. Underneath, you can see that there are turrets all around. That's pretty nice. Next one, the medical supply factory looks like that. You can see the turrets are placed in here at this side and this side, and that's how this station type looks. Very cool. We're going fast through this, so if you need some more information, just hit the pause button whenever I show you some menus, so that way you can take a closer look. Here we are in the Terran MRE, the meals ready to eat packing facility. That's how they are calling this facilities. There you got the Terran MRE. This is produced out of energy cells and protein paste, and you can see the values there. The Terran MRE production module looks like that. You have turrets up here, you have turrets down there. You don't have shield modules as far as I can see, but that's not a problem. It's a production module, whatever. This is how this looks like. The first production module that you need to build something is the metallic micro lattice production, which you can see at the right side here. And this station will produce one of the first things that you need in your new Terran economy. In the logical overview, you can see the metallic micro lattice, what you need for it. You need energy cells, helium, and ore, and this will produce metallic micro lattice. This is just one single module. All the things that I show you is just with one single module, and you can see how much you can scale it from there. And the module itself, we're going here quick one by one because I have to show you a lot of stuff, and otherwise this video would be so long. So let's take a look at this thing, the metallic micro lattice faction. You can see a few turrets, one single shield, and it looks pretty nice. And it looks like you have to put that either on top or at the side of some stations. Next step in the production chain is silicon carbide. Silicon carbide is again something completely new that the Terrans bring on the table. You can see the module up there, of course, attached to another station. We'll take a closer look here too. And of course, we're starting in the logical station overview. You can see that you need metallic micro lattice to build silicon carbide. Silicon carbide, you got all the information that you need right there. So take a screenshot or just press pause. My god, these stations announcements. Like, these stations always want to tell you there are beggars on board. Give your money to a charity instead. There you go. I got it for you. Silicon carbide module looks like that in the building module. It looks a little bit like a mate from a Dyson, but that's fine. You can see the turret placements right there. It will be attached left or right to the station. And we're already at the last part of the production chain, the Computronic Substrate, which you can see again on top of me. This is the last thing that you need to build your economy in Terran space. Logical station overview for Computronic Substrate. There you go. You need energy cells, hydrogen ore, and silicon. And these are the stats that you have for one Computronic Substrate. The resources it takes is highly demanding. This is something that needs some input. The Computronic Substrate module looks like that. You have 4 turrets on this thing, and again you can put that left or right to the station. Again, with a ring, the Terran's designs are always around these rings, but also very, very sleek. It looks a little bit like Valorant. So we already got Dyson and Valorant in here. Well, that's fine. We take it. Thank you so much. And while we are on this station, let's have a look at the habitation modules. You already saw some in the intro and already in the trailer. You have the big ring on the top, which is an L habitation module, and the one here, the small ring, is an S-class habitation module. To take a closer look at these modules, we are in the encyclopedia, and here we have the Terran L living quarters. The workforce capacity for this one is 500, and you see the resources needed for construction. And this is also something that I want to talk about with you. Why you need it for all the other factions, Claytronics, energy cells, and hull parts to produce station modules. They are completely independent with their economy. So you need Computronic Substrate, energy cells, and silicon carbide to produce station modules. If we take a look at the Argon L habitat, you see Claytronics and hull parts did now change for Computronic Substrate and silicon carbide. And that is the case for every single module that you can build for the Terrans. We'll talk about that in a second. Terran M living quarters can hold 250 people, look like that, a little bit smaller ring. And a Terran S living quarter can hold up to 100 people. We're still at the Computronic Substrate factory to take a closer look on storage modules you can have as a Terran. So if we take a look here, we have the solid storage right in front of us. This is how solid storage looks like. Then we have the liquid storage right there with the big bubbles and or the big tanks underneath. And on the other side, we have a container storage. On the right side, there's a solid storage, and this one here at the front is a container storage. You can distinguish it a little bit by the colors. The one is red, the container storage. The solid is orange. Let's take a closer look on the L-class storages. We have an L-class solid storage that looks like that. You can put that station module into every 6 directions on your station. Then we got the L-class container storage. As you can see, the only change is the color. So this container storage is red colored, or has got red highlights, and the solid storage has got orange highlights. And the only other liquid storage I could find is an M-class liquid storage, but as an S-class, you will see these tanks also with 4 rows, and it looks like that. I really like the blue in here. That's a very nice design with the white and the red. We're having just a quick look into the encyclopedia for all the storage modules, and we're starting with the Terran L container. You can see 1 million storage capacity. All the L-class docks are basically the same like all the others. So you got 1 million storage capacity in there. You can see the resources needed for construction. If you want to take a closer look, then just press pause. Go with the L liquid storage, also 1 million. The L solid storage, also 1 million. And then it changes a little bit because the Terran M container storage has got 500,000 storage capacity, as like most of the other factions do have just 100,000 storage capacity in a medium storage module. And you see the resources needed. We go with the liquid one, where also a few factions do have 500,000 storage capacity in M docks. And the solid storage is also 500,000. You have one specialty in here, that's the Terran M trading station container. The trading station container, as you would think, is only available on trading stations, which you maybe frankly cannot build, but I don't know yet. We will see. Terran S container storage holds up 100,000. That's 4 times more than other S container storages. For example, from the Paranit or the Split, they can only have 25,000 in there. Same with the liquid and the solid storage capacity. They are basically the same. So I told you that you can build every single station module from the Terrans with just the Terran wares, and also the same with, for example, this shipyard. Everything you can see in here is being built by the materials that I just told you about: the Computronic Substrate, the metallic micro lattice, and the silicon carbide. That's all you need to build a wharf. And therefore they needed to change some modules so that they fit into this resource pattern. For you, that means that you can now build these modules, like for example an XL ship fabrication bay or an L fabrication bay, in the design language of Terrans, with the black, the blue, and everything that's in there. If we take a closer look, for example, on this capital ship construction module, then you can see the design language is a little bit different than this orange rusty stuff that you know from other factions. It's a little bit more white, and that's basically everywhere on every single module for the Terrans. That means if we go into the encyclopedia and take a look at the actual modules, this is the XL ship fabrication bay that you know. And now we're taking a look at the XL fabrication bay of the Terrans. Not only the colors change, but also the resources needed to construct this thing. Same with the L ship fabrication bay. This is the old one. It's a little bit more orange, yellow, a little bit rusty. And then we take a look at the Terran one. The Terran is more white. You need other resources, and that's basically for every single production bay you need. The SM ship fabrication bay doesn't change too much. You can see that's the new one. It's a little bit brighter, but the resources needed are different. The SM ship maintenance bay is also a little bit different. That's the new one. That's the old one. The design changed a little bit to a little bit more brightening, so that it all fits more into that color scheme that the Terrans come with. XL ship maintenance bay, to round that up, we got the old one here and the new one, resources needed for construction. You also see that Computronic Substrate, you don't need that much, but you also saw how much stuff you can produce in 1 hour. These station things here. And that way you can see the Computronic Substrate, you don't need that much because you can't produce that much in 1 hour. Since we're here, let me just show you what you need for some defense modules. That's the Terran Administrative Center. For the resources, that's the Bridge Defense Platform for resource reasons, and the Disk Defense Platform there. The Bridge Defense Platform looks like that. You got 4 L-class turrets at the top, 4 L-class turrets at the other side, and you have a total of 16 M-class turrets. 4 here, 4 there, 4 there, and 4 there. That's the Bridge Defense module. The disc defense module, the same turrets 24. You got the same amount of L-class turrets and M-class turrets, but they are a little bit better placed for defending against all directions. And it looks very cool. Like, it looks like a wheel. It fits into the design language of the Terrans with all these round shapes, all these circular shapes. And you can put it in to your station design at every 6 directions you can imagine. We cannot have a closer look on the administrative module in the build planner, so that way we just take a look from the outside. That's the module itself, and by going around it you can see that you can just put it in to your station at 2 different directions. And that's how the administrative module looks like. No weapons, of course, because otherwise you would be able to take a closer look at the build planner. And let's take a look at the docking base next. To take a look at the S and M ship docking modules, we are in a ship to do a flyby. And how I understand that, this single module here, it's a 4M and 10S luxury dock. That's the only docking possibility for S-class ships that the Terrans have when you just want to build Terran parts. And we'll take a closer look to with a small flyby. You can see the 2 M docks here. There are 2 more M docks on the other side. You have 4 possibilities to fly in here. So you have 5 pads on this side. You have 5 pads on the other side. You do have a station trader here. On the other side, you will have a maintenance, a ship trader there, or a upgrade and repair module there. As you know, a ship dealership looks like. These 2 sites are just connected through a teleporter. So you go into the station tube system and then just go to the other side through teleporting. There is no direct connection to walk in. This is the inside. As I said, you have 4 different inputs or outputs, how you want to use them. And if you go outside, then you do have the 2 M docking bays right there, which will connect you also through a door to the other parts of the station. As you can see right there, there are the doors left and right. Of course, you could also use, when you're more advanced, an SM ship fabrication bay as a docking module instead of this module, but it would need a lot more resources to build that. Just by buying the blueprint, it costs a lot already. Just so you know how much it costs, we're in the encyclopedia, and there you go. Resources needed for construction for a 4M10S luxury dock area. And since we're already here, we can take a look at the Terran docks. So you do have 1 dock pier. You do have a 3 dock E pier. You do have a 3 dock T pier and a 4 dock T pier that you can build. There is another thing that a lot of you would like to build. I know that's the Terran trading station Hexa dock pier, but like the name suggests, it is a trading station. I highly doubt that you can build this by yourself, at least not without mods. Let's take a very short look at other modules. So the connection modules that you have, you see at the left side, you got a base 1, base 2, base 3. Got a cross connection, a vertical 1 and a vertical 2, all inside here. The cross connection looks pretty nice. I like how this fits into all this design pattern. Also with a very shiny white that you got with a Terran station. Very cool. A short note to say something about the ships and the ships being built with the materials that you now have in the Terran space. Before, you had to build a ship with hull parts, energy cells, weapon materials, weapon components, sheet components, and so on. That will change for the Terran ships. For the Terran ships, you need just the Terran materials. For example, a ship itself is not being built with energy cells and hull parts anymore. A ship is being built with energy cells, Computronic Substrates, and metallic micro lattice. So to give you a quick info how these ships are being built, If you are just running a Terran economy, you will be able to build everything in the Terran economy with just the few materials that they produce. And we're already through everything that there is in the new economy and in the station design. And while we're flying through a very interesting sector, let me say that this is already the view that we will take tomorrow. Tomorrow I will show you every new sector that there is in, what you can expect in the new starting zone, where it connects to, and where to start. So thank you very much for watching today. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We'll see us again tomorrow for some very, very cool sectors to look at. Have a good one and see you then. Bye.